Next slide, please. Next, 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 please. Thank you, Rohan ji.
Thank you, sir.
दोस्तों, आपने देखा होगा बेबस लोग बेरहम सरकार के शीर्षक से ये स्लाइड्स जिनकी एक कॉपी हम आपको भेज रहे हैं, हम इसे मोदी 0.2 कह रहे हैं, नॉट 2.0, क्योंकि 0 + 0 can only become 2 zeros and ultimately it is a sum total of all zeros. इससे पहले कि और हम आगे बढ़े, मैं आदरणीय श्री केसी वेणुगोपाल जी से अनुरोध करूंगा कि वो अपनी बात शुरू करेंगे और उसके बाद मैं अपनी बात हिंदी में जोड़ूंगा। आदरणीय वेणुगोपाल जी।
Thank you, Randeep ji. Good afternoon, dear friends. First of all, I would like to welcome all of my media friends to this special and important press conference. Actually, Randeep ji briefed about the purpose of this press conference, and we have already shown the slide of some events. Modi government is completing 6 years in his tenure. First term, he completed 5 years. In second term, he completing 1 year. Actually, the second term of Modi government is more extreme version of the previous one on governance. The political, economical, and social destruction it caused is more alarming and severe. In any yardsticks, the government is a memorial of its failure and lack of policies and cluelessness. I would like to read out the statement prepared by Indian National Congress analyzing the 6-year Modi government in a little bit longer way. Friends, I'm sorry to say that that statement itself is too long. Please bear with it. After that, Randeep ji will elaborately discuss about the statements and take your questions and give the answers. First of all, with your permission, I'm going to read out this statement. Helpless people, helpless government, 6 years, 6 myths exposed. 2019-2020, a year of disappointment, disastrous management, and diabolical pain. And at the start of the 7th year, India stands at crossroads. It is a citizen exhausted by the weight of this government's sins, inaptitude and callous insensitivity to the widespread suffering. Over the last 6 years, India witnessed a steady increase in the politics of distraction and false noise to the point that it has become a defining mainstay of Modi government's administrative style. While it served the political interest of the BJP, it came at an unprecedented economic and social cost to the nation. Prime Minister Modi would do well to remember extraordinary promises beget extraordinary expectations. But as we shall see, even the most ordinary and mundane expectation of keeping a country running were beyond the capabilities of this government, which promised so much and delivered so very little. Myth 1, Vikas versus reality of voodoo Modinomics. Prime Minister Modi sold his brand of administration in one word, Vikas. He coined the catchphrase 60 years versus 60 months to deliver this fabled Vikas. This year, 2020, became the milestone for the realization of all promises. And what does the government have to show for it? One, first of all, very important point, 2 crore job versus 27% unemployment rate. Modi came to power promising 2 crore jobs a year, but India witnessed the highest unemployment rate in the last 45 years, reached in 2017-18. 6.1% overall, but 7.8% in urban area and 5.3% in rural India. Post-COVID, India's unemployment rate has soared to an unprecedented 27.411%. This EMI statistics. Under the Modi government, GDP has become synonymous with grossly declining performance. Lowest GDP growth since independence. Most international and national rating agencies have predicted negative GDP growth in financial year 2020-21. We can quote Nomura, a negative growth of 5% in February 21. Fitch and Crystal, a negative growth of 5% in February 21. Goldman Sachs, a negative growth rate of 5% in February 21. ICRA, a negative growth rate of 5% in February 21. The economy had been mismanaged in the point of ruin long before COVID-19 itself. GDP growth has been sliding continuously since the last 21 months. Fourth quarter of February 2020 is at an abysmal low 3.1% and likely to be revised at 2%. Banks duped, India deceived. 6 years of Modi government witnessed loan write-off for bank fraudsters of rupees 6,66,000 crores. That is 2014-15 to September 2019. 6 years of Modi government witnessed 32,868 bank frauds involving public money to the tune of rupees 2,70,513 crores. 6 years of Modi government witnessed trust assets of the banks rise to a whopping rupees 16,50,000 crores. Bank NPA rose 423% from 2,24,542 crores on June 30th of 2014.
कहीं ठीक है तो वो ठीक कहना होगा, कहेंगे एक नाम ऐलान कर देना लॉकडाउन, ये देश के लिए बहुत
The most shocking revelation
एकदम कर्फ्यू
of
लगा दो,
rights of
जरूरत
came
नहीं,
on
लेकिन फिर वहाँ
2024.
कमी रही आपके प्लानिंग,
2020.
जो कहेंगे कि हम दो
Then
सवाल
RTA
पूछेंगे
replied.
आपसे, दो
In the midst of COVID-19, Modi government wrote off loans of worth of 68,607 crores for the likes of Mehul Choksi, Nirav Modi, Jatin Mehta, Vijay Mallya, and others. Rupees reaches a Margadarshak Mandal. PM Modi came to power promising $1 will be equal to 40 rupees. But in 6 years of Modi government, the Indian rupee has become Asia's worst performing currency. As of May 30th, 2020, $1 is equal to Indian rupee 75.57. COVID relief reached to a jumla. The rupees 20 lakh crore COVID-19 relief package touted by the Prime Minister as a 10% of GDP has turned to be a mere 0.83% of GDP in reality. This has become as perhaps the most insensitive and callous announcement for a nation that waited for 60 days for relief. Myth 2, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas versus Mitram Ka Saath, Bhajpa Ka Vikas. 6 years of Modi government have proven that it prioritizes the haves over the have-nots. The rich have gotten richer while the poor, needy, and vulnerable have been abandoned. India now has the highest income inequality in 73 years. That is Credit Suisse reports. 1% of people now own more than 45% of Indian wealth on this government watch. Staggering increase in rural poverty rate to 30% in 2017 and 18. With the COVID-19 lockdown, nearly 80 million migrant workers are returning to India villages. And the simple question is, can the rural economy keep up? As per a United Nations and ILO report, 40 crore people in the unorganized sector are expected to be pushed into poverty in days to come. Middle class, lower middle class is in a grave economic grief. The total combined loss in income of 130 crore depositors in small savings schemes, that is PPF, NSC, KVP extra, and second, 44.51 crores account holders of SBI depositors, that is from introduction to interest rates, is a whopping rupees 44,670 crores annually. The latest blow for the middle class and pensioners is discontinuation of 7.75% interest carrying RBI bonds. 113 lakh central government employees, armed force personnel, and pensioners have lost rupees 37,630 crores annually by backdated cutting of the dearness allowances and dearness pay. While the country has gotten poor, interestingly, the BJP has been dramatic rise in the fortunes. the BJP's income increased from rupees 970 crores in 2014-15 to rupees 2,410 crores in 2019-20 by over 248%. Myth 3, Pradhan Sevak versus autocratic emperor. Prime Minister Modi advertised his austerity and humble roots, but 6 years of his government have demonstrated a shocking lack of concern for the woes of the common man, and worse still, demonstration zero sense of accountability to the people. The worst humanitarian crisis witnessed by India in recent memory, that of the migrant, was a direct result of apathy and a failure of leadership. 80 million migrant workers were forced to walk back home without food, water, and shelter in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, as the Pradhan Sevak refused to even acknowledge the plight. Be it demonetization, GST, or COVID lockdown, all decisions are taken by one man as repository of all wisdom, almost always with the disastrous consequences. Systematic subjugation of all democratic institutions. In the Election Commission, the Controller and Auditor General, the Central Vigilance Commission, the Information Commission, the Lokpal look weaker, more ineffective, and more unwilling to act than ever before. Deliberate and brazen refusal to clear appointments to the High Courts and Supreme Court by the government has imperiled the independence of the judiciary. Judges' lawyers' mysterious death, the abrupt transfers of inconvenient judges, and the attempt to intimidation of judiciary are indelible blots on this government's legacy. The virtual suspension of the Parliament standing committees and the non-convening of the Parliament itself in the guise of COVID-19 reflects in full the autocratic and unaccountable style. No engagement or discussion with opposition parties or opposition ruled states take place. Systematic persecution of all political leaders. Critics, including authors, writers, thinkers, journalists, etc., opposed to the BJP is the norm. Registration of false and motivated cases by misusing the CBI, ED, and IT to harass and suppress contrary has become a defining trait. Complete aversion to accountability and transparency. In the moment of global pandemic, despite having collected over $1 billion in the PM Care Fund, there is an arrogant refusal to provide any details. The refusal to cancel rupees 110 crore bullet train project or rupees 20,000 crores Central Vista project demonstrate that vanity matters more than alleviating suffering of those at the very margins. Zero press conferences by the Prime Minister over the last 6 years. There is no pretense of even attempting to be accountable to the public. Propaganda and false statistics have replaced press conferences. Myth 4, doubling farm income versus decimating farm economy. 6 years of Modi government is an unending tale of betrayal of the Andada, that is the farmers. Modi government promised cost plus 50% profit as MSP and doubling of farm income. Never since in 6 years, Modi government fixed MSP at a cost of plus 50% as promised in the manifesto based on C2 formula. On the contrary, farmers are suffered a loss of rupees 50,000 crores in Rabi 2020 season alone. Profiteering at the cost of farmers and surging input costs have made agriculture economically unviable. In 6 years of Modi government, the excess duty on diesel has gone up from rupees 3.56 per litre to rupees 31.83 per litre. That is an increase of 800%. This is despite international oil prices crashing to a historic low. Price of DAP fertilizer has gone up from rupees 1075 per bag in 2014 to rupees 1450 per bag in 2020. A 50 kg bag of potash has gone up from rupees 450 to rupees 969. A 50 kg bag of super fertilizers has gone up from rupees 260 to rupees 350 per bag. First time in India's history, the quantity in a urea fertilizer bag has been reduced from 50 kg to 40 kg without reducing the price. For the first time in India's history, Modi government taxed agriculture. 5% of GST has been imposed on fertilizers, 18% on pesticides, 12% on tractor and all agriculture equipment, and 18% on all tractor tires, transmission, and other parts. PM Fasal Bima Yojana has become insurance company profit-sharing scheme. Between 2016-17 up till Kharif 2020-19, total premium paid under Fasal Bima Yojana is rupees 99,046 crores, but farmers received compensation of rupees 72,952 crores. Insurance company made a profit of rupees 26,094 crores. That is mean more than 26% of profit gone to insurance companies. You can see. 41% of farmers denied coverage under PM Kisan Samman Yojana. Out of 14.64 crore farmers, agriculture census on 2016 we are depending, 6.42 crores are excluded from the scheme in this entirety. Modi government fought over 5 years to finish a land acquisition law enacted by the UPA for farmers. When forced to repeal it by the Congress, they enacted in BJP ruled states and finally fought against in the Supreme Court. Myth 5, Achadin versus Sachedin. Never before has a government been so at odds with itself and its own people. India was the beacon of democracy and the region, but now under the Modi government, we risk becoming a cautionary tale. A house of cards built on lies. The bringing back of rupees 80 lakh crores of black money from abroad and depositing rupees 15 lakhs in every Indian's bank account was perhaps the most audacious lie in India's political history. Instead of realizing this promise, the Modi government allowed rupees 2,70,000 crores worth of bank frauds to occur on its watch, with high value defaulters fleeing the country under a fleece and fly policy. After 6 years, not a single fraudster who was absconded has been brought back. The falsehood of sloganeering exposed. Minimum government, maximum governance has become the minimum government, maximum governance has become the opposite, maximum government, zero governance. Cooperative federalism turned out to be a coercive dictatorship. Tax terrorism has become the norms and policy paralysis of the all-pervasive culture. The 100 smart cities are long forgotten, buried and dead, and so are hundreds of similar empty catchphrases meant to fool the people. Sharp fall on the global hunger and happiness indexes. India has slipped to the abysmal rank of 102 out of the 117 countries in global hunger index. On the happiness index, Indians fell out from rank 117 in 2013 to a bottom rank of 140 out of 155 countries in 2019. Complete disregard for public health. 21 out of 30 most polluted cities in the world are now in India, WHO status. India has become world's 4th worst country in terms of environmental health. that's got by EPI 2018. Out of 180 countries, India ranks 5th global climate risk in 2018, down from 14th in 2017. 6 years of Modi government has seen the praying of the bonds of empathy, fraternity, and brotherhood, with a massive increase in acts of communal and sectarian violences. Myth 6, strong leadership versus incoherent decisions making. In the 6 years of Modi government, national interest has been constantly compromised and sacrificed at the altar of political self-interest. 6 years of Modi government witnessed a sharp increase in martyrdom of our Jawans by nearly 110%. Key defense establishment, including the Uri Army Brigade headquarters, Pathankote Air Base, and Nagroda Army Base, Amarnath Yatra, among others, are repeatedly attacked by the Pak trained terrorists as a clueless government looked on. 40 CRPF Jawans give the ultimate sacrifice in Pulwama. The conspiracy behind the smuggled RDX, the glaring security breach and connection to a senior police officer caught escorting terrorists still remain unresolved. Till date, no one has explained the mystery as to how did the Prime Minister lose contact and remained busy in shooting film in Jim Corbett Park at the time of the Pulwama terrorist attack. All talk, no walk. Never hesitant to use the achievements of the armed force of the recent political campaign. The government has thoughtlessly slashed the defense budget. In the budget 2020-21, defense was allocated just 1.58% of the GDP, lowest amount since 1962. Post-COVID, this budget has been reduced further. The failure of guerrilla diplomacy. The unprovoked incursion in Ladakh by Chinese armed force in Pangong, Solek and Galwan Valley regions raised grave apprehensions vis-a-vis our national security, coming as it does after the Doklam standoff. It has caused serious concerns and anxiety, more so because Prime Minister has not come forward to share any details with the nation, much less speak to the Chinese with his promised red eyes. Relationship with the navies. The build-up of the border dispute with Nepal, the expansion on Paidu Pinolo Island in the Maldives by the Chinese, the long-term agreement of Hambantota port in Sri Lanka with the Chinese are all a sign of dragon cloud affecting our national security concerns. At the end of 6 long years, it appears that the Modi government is at war with its people, inflicting wounds instead of healing them. It is somewhat surprising that they still haven't grasped the most fundamental lessons of governance in a democracy. We are elected to serve, listen, protect, and uplift, not to divide, mislead, and to distract. The sooner this government realizes that, the better it will be for the nation and for their own places in its history. This is what the statement we are mentioning.
Unmute yourself, sir.
वेणुगोपाल जी का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। दोस्तों, सारी बात जो आज हमें कहनी है वो आदरणीय केसी वेणुगोपाल जी ने आपको बताई। कुछ ही वाक्यों में मैं थोड़ी बात कहकर और फिर हम आपके सवाल लेंगे। 2019-20 भारी निराशा, कुप्रबंधन और असीम पीड़ा का साल साबित हुआ है। मोदी सरकार के 7वें साल की इस शुरुआत में भारत आज ऐसे मुकाम पर आ खड़ा हुआ है जहां देश का नागरिक सरकार द्वारा दिए गए अनगिनत घावों और निष्ठुर असंवेदनशीलता की पीड़ा सहने को मजबूर है। पिछले 6 सालों में भटकाव की राजनीति एवं झूठे शोरगुल की प्रकाष्ठा मोदी सरकार के कामकाज का तरीका बन गई है। आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार कह रही है 6 साल बाद कि आओ चले आत्मनिर्भरता की ओर। मोदी जी अन्नदाता किसानों और भारत निर्माता श्रमिकों की आजीविका और आत्मसम्मान सड़कों पर रौंदे जा रहे हैं और वे आत्मनिर्भरता का पाठ पढ़ा रहे हैं। विकास दर बदर की ठोकरें खा रहा है, अर्थव्यवस्था डगमगा रही है और आत्मनिर्भरता की दुहाई दी जा रही है। चल रहा युवाओं के रोजगार का द्वंद है, उद्योग और धंधे मंद हैं, मेक इन इंडिया बंद है और ये कोरे आत्मनिर्भरता के प्रचार का छल छंद है। परिणामों से दूर, प्रचार से भरपूर सरकार। इसीलिए हमने कहा बेबस लोग बेरहम सरकार। प्रधानमंत्री जी विपक्ष से पूछते हैं कि वो सरकार के साथ हैं या नहीं। विपक्ष का काम सरकार के साथ नहीं, देश के साथ खड़े होना है। 130 करोड़ भारतीयों के साथ खड़े होना।
लॉकडाउन ये देश
सरकार के गलत कामों पर सवाल उठाना है और सरकार को रास्ता दिखाना, यही विपक्ष का काम है। जैसा वेणुगोपाल जी ने कहा, ऐसे लगता है 6 साल पूरे करने के बाद मोदी सरकार ने 130 करोड़ भारतीयों के खिलाफ जंग छेड़ रखी है। मरहम लगाने की बजाय घाव दे रहे हैं। वो मजदूर हो, वो किसान हो, वो छोटा उद्योग हो, वो दुकानदार हो, वो नौकरी पेशा व्यक्ति हो, वो हमारे अनुसूचित जाति के साथी हो, वो पिछड़े वर्ग के साथी हो, वो हमारे आदिवासी भाई बहन हो। ये सरकार अपने नागरिकों से लड़ाई लड़ रही है। उनके अधिकारों पर अतिक्रमण की, उन पर अत्याचार की। मोदी सरकार के 6 साल का सार केवल यह है कि यह सरकार मुट्ठी भर अमीरों की तिजोरियां भरने में लगी है और गरीबों के शोषण में। इसीलिए बेबस लोग और बेरहम सरकार की संज्ञा और 6 मिथक या 6 भ्रांतियां श्री केसी वेणुगोपाल जी ने बताई। आज 130 करोड़ देशवासी संकल्प लेते हैं कि प्रजातांत्रिक तरीके से इस जाबर जालिम सरकार का सामना करेंगे। कोई भी प्रश्न आप पूछना चाहें तो स्वागत है। प्रणव जी टेक ओवर प्लीज।
धन्यवाद सर। पहला रिक्वेस्ट है संजीव जी का पीटीआई से। सिद्धार्थ, उसके बाद आपके पास आता हूँ। संजीव पूछे पहला सवाल।
थैंक यू प्रणव जी। नमस्कार रणदीप जी। रणदीप जी, अभी कुछ देर पहले बीजेपी प्रेसिडेंट जेपी नड्डा ने अपनी अचीवमेंट्स गिनाई, अपने 6 साल, इस 1 साल पूरा हुआ और पिछले 5 साल का, कि कैसी ये सरकार रही। तो उन्होंने कांग्रेस को, अपनी तो अचीवमेंट्स गिनाई वो तो अलग है, लेकिन कांग्रेस को उन्होंने स्पेशली इन दिस क्राइसिस ऑफ कोविड उन्होंने कहा कि कांग्रेस हैज प्लेड पॉलिटिक्स, हालांकि बीजेपी ने नहीं बल्कि कांग्रेस ने पॉलिटिक्स प्ले की इस महामारी के तहत, और उनका व्यवहार और आचार जो है वो रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं रहा। एंड ऑन द अदर हैंड ऑल्सो एक्यूज्ड कांग्रेस लीडर राहुल गांधी कि उनकी समझ, मतलब हिज अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज लिमिटेड और उनके कमेंट्स आर ऑल अबाउट पॉलिटिक्स एंड नॉट एम्ड एट एड्रेसिंग द क्राइसिस।
आदरणीय मित्र, सबसे पहले तो जेपी नड्डा जी को, जो कोविड-19 का घोटाला उनके स्वयं के गृह प्रांत हिमाचल प्रदेश में हुआ है, इसकी वजह से भाजपा के वहां के अध्यक्ष बिंदल साहब को इस्तीफा देना पड़ा है। अच्छा होता नड्डा साहब उस भ्रष्टाचार की चर्चा करते और हिमाचल प्रदेश के स्वास्थ्य मंत्री जो मुख्यमंत्री भी हैं उनके इस्तीफे की भी घोषणा करते। अच्छा होता कि जेपी नड्डा साहब ये बताते कि फर्जी वेंटिलेटर कांड भाजपा शासित गुजरात में क्यों हुआ और उसके लिए कौन दोषी हैं, सरकार में भाजपा में किससे उनके तार जुड़े हैं। अच्छा होता नड्डा साहब देश को यह बताते कि गुजरात का फर्जी मास्क कांड जिसमें 63% अधिक कीमतें ले ली गई N95 मास्क की, उस फर्जीवाड़े में गुजरात की जनता के खजाने को किस प्रकार से चूना लगा और सरकार में बैठे किस व्यक्ति ने लगाया। अच्छा होता जेपी नड्डा जी खुद पूर्व केंद्रीय स्वास्थ्य मंत्री हैं, ये बताते कि केंद्र सरकार में रैपिड टेस्टिंग किट घोटाला किस प्रकार से हुआ और किसने किया। अच्छा होता अगर जेपी नड्डा साहब ये बताते कि 12 फरवरी 2020 को जिन श्री राहुल गांधी जी ने कोरोना वायरस संकट और संक्रमण के प्रति देश को आगाह किया था, उस 12 फरवरी 2020 और उसके बाद राहुल जी की संसद के अंदर और बाहर दी गई 4 चेतावनियों को मोदी सरकार ने क्यों नहीं सुना। अच्छा होता अगर जेपी नड्डा साहब ये बताते कि कोरोना संक्रमण के बीचों बीच लाखों लोगों का नमस्ते ट्रंप अभियान क्यों चलाया गया, जिसकी वजह से आज गुजरात सबसे संक्रमित प्रदेशों में बन गया है कोरोना महामारी के। अच्छा होता जेपी नड्डा साहब ये भी बताते कि तबलीगी जमात को गृह मंत्री अमित शाह जी ने कोरोना महामारी के बीचों बीच दिल्ली में अपना फंक्शन करने और विदेश से धर्म प्रचारक लाने की इजाजत क्यों दी थी। अच्छा होता जेपी नड्डा साहब ये भी बताते कि क्या 25 मार्च को लॉकडाउन इसलिए लगाया गया और उससे पहले रोक लिया गया क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी और भाजपा के नेतागण कांग्रेस की चुनी हुई मध्य प्रदेश की सरकार को 24 मार्च 2020 तक गिराने का इंतजार कर रहे थे। अच्छा होता जेपी नड्डा साहब ये भी बताते, जैसा हमने स्लाइड में दिखाया, कि आपने पहला केस मिला 30 जनवरी को, परंतु टेस्टिंग की मापदंड निर्धारित किए पहली बार 22 मार्च को। 30 जनवरी से 22 मार्च तक का समय टेस्टिंग के मापदंड का निर्धारण करने में भारत सरकार ने क्यों खो दिया, जिससे कोरोना महामारी के खिलाफ लड़ाई कमजोर हुई। और आखिर में मैं ये कहूंगा, अच्छा होता जेपी नड्डा साहब ये भी बताते कि 64 दिन के 4 लॉकडाउन के बाद जब संक्रमण 578 था तो लॉकडाउन 1 लगाया गया था। आज संक्रमण 1.5 लाख को पार कर गया है तो लॉकडाउन 4 अब समाप्त होने वाला है। 4 लॉकडाउन के बाद देश ने क्या पाया और क्या खोया, और सरकार की लॉकडाउन से एग्जिट स्ट्रैटेजी क्या है। देश ये सुनना चाहता था भाजपा की सरकार और भाजपा के अध्यक्ष से, बजाय इल्जामात और सस्ती राजनीति के। धन्यवाद।